вероятностная неопределенность в дифференциальных играх и управлении. So the title of the lecture by Professor Quincampoix is Probabilistic Uncertainty in Differential Games and Control. Please go on. Take this.
Okay, I can without. So, Ablagadari, organizator of the Preklasini, is Asobina Alexandra Borisovicza, Fyodorovnu, Prierat Pierre Yekaterinburg, Yaminia Balchoye, Udavosky. And I am very pleased to meet here many Russian colleagues of Yekaterinburg that I have met several times in other countries. So today I will speak about a series of results we have obtained in France since 10 years about differential games and control problem where probability is where uncertainty is modelized by a probability measure. Okay, so this is a very traditional control system. So in finite dimensional space, non-linear, the state variable is x. U is a control variable state value in some compact space. And I have chosen today to consider only the problem optimal control with a very simple optimization, minimization of the final cost. It's a major problem where there is cost G. So I denote the trajectory like this. So the trajectory, of course, depends on T, and here it's initial position and U. So which kind of uncertainty I'm interested by in this lecture? I'm interested by the uncertainty about three things. First, the initial position x naught in this control system is not exactly known by the controller. A second possibility is that the dynamic is not exactly known. And the last thing is the cost itself does not exactly known. For simplicity, I will concentrate on the first problem when we have not exactly knowledge of the initial position. And of course, we can consider the same problem for differential games. So this is min-max. It has to be written with strategy. So we have a differential game, control system, dynamic control by two players, U and V, and we can ask the same question, but there is some more interesting things, that in games, the two players can have, of course, they can have uncertainty knowledge about the initial condition that could be different. So there is a playing the role of interaction between the player is more interesting. Okay, let me describe two very simple examples. One is due to Pierre Bernard and Rapaport many years ago. We can consider a pursuit game, lion and man, in a square. So imagine that the evaders know everything. It's a classical game. And for the pursuer, he does not know exactly where is the initial position of the evader. He knows only for example, one projection of the initial position. And there is this kind of uncertainty, but during the game, both players observe not the state, because it's not available for them, but they observe the action. So during the game, they observe the action of the opponents. So this is the first kind of problem I can consider. A second simple example is we have a control system, we have a differential games, but there is two dynamics. There is only two controllers, but two dynamics, two dynamic equations. One is given by F1, the second is given by F2. And imagine that at the initial time, which one of the dynamic is chosen randomly, for example, by a coin. And the choice of the dynamic is communicated only to the first player and not to the second one. And how in this case, this is a problem. The player wants to minimize the cost, against player 2 wants to maximize it. It is an antagonistic game. And during the game, both players observe at every time the action of their opponents. And here, in this simple example, the role of this information is very crucial. Because, for example, for the uninformed player, which does not know exactly which dynamic is played, he does not know exactly the current state variable. But he can guess it only by observing the action of its opponents. And of course, the opponents, knowing this phenomena, will try to use, of course, this information, but not too much. He will try to hide this information, and a way of hiding this information is playing with random strategy. Okay. Another motivation also to use probability in differential games. It's very known here, I think, in the Yekaterinburg, because you know when we have a differential game, one with this minimization problem, an important question is the existence of a value, and when it's well known that when we have this Isaac condition, the equality between these two Hamiltonians, there exists a value. But when we have not this Isaac's condition, there is no exact existence of the value, at least in pure strategy. We have to pass to mixed strategy to prove the existence of the value, and I think one of the first was introducing this mixed strategy for differential game was in the book of Krasovsky-Subotin, after by Chenchov-Subotin, and also in some nonlinear case, more general, some recent work that we have done with collaborators. Okay, there is another way of coping, of considering uncertainty on initial state. I will just say some word. I did work many years ago on this, but it's the case when the initial condition is not known, but we know that it belongs to a given set E0. And in this case, the only available information by the controller, it's a reachable set. He can compute the reachable set. It is all the initial position reached from E0 in time t with the control U. And so the minimization here is not minimization over G, but it's minimization of the worst cost on the final reachable set. And of course, everything is remaining to the computation of the reachable set, but sometimes the reachable set is very difficult to evaluate exactly, and sometimes it's more interesting to have approximation of reachable set by more simple sets. For example, we can consider a minimal ellipsoids containing the reachable sets, and this has been done in several works. For example, by there is all literature on funnel equations satisfied by this reachable set of our approximation. For example, by the previous lecture by Kozansky, Fizikova, and some works in the fully nonlinear case by myself and Begloff in several papers. But here I will concentrate on initial state. It's not known, and that there is a probabilistic description. I will consider three kinds of models after these preliminaries. The first case is the more simple in the mathematical point of view. X naught is only replaced by a probabilistic measure mu0. I will illustrate. The second case, I will explain in the second part of my talk that the tools developed for the first case can be also used for treating multi-agent systems. And the last case, maybe the more interesting and where there is a more open question, is the case of differential games with complete asymmetric information on initial position. Okay, let's go to the first case. So I spent some time, so this is still the very classical control systems. And instead knowing X naught, the controllers know only a probabilistic measure mu0, which is in probabilistic measure on the RD, on the space of state variable. So what means that he knows mu0? It means that for every Borel subset of RD, he knows a number, mu0 of A, which is in 0, 1, which is a probability that the initial position belongs to the set A. For example, instead he knows, for example, the controllers can know from the beginning that the initial state belongs to some given ball with a uniform density. This could be a possible mu naught. Or he can also, another example, he can know that the initial condition is only 2 points with equal probability 1/2. This is another case. Okay, and so in this case, the initial measure mu0 when u is fixed propagates, and is propagates by the flow of the differential equation when u is fixed. So this is my notation phi, when I have a map phi from RD to RD, phi sharp mu0, it is the image measure of mu0 by the map phi, so it is for every Borel set, this is equal to the mu0 of phi minus 1 of A. So in some sense, we have replaced the state variable x by a new variable, new state variable, which is mu t, which is propagated by the flow of the control system. And what is the cost now? Because we know the controller knows only mu0. And so the cost, he takes the integral of the final cost with respect to mu0, and this is here. Or equivalently, he takes the integral of g with respect to mu t, the final measure propagated by the control system. So this is the cost of this problem. And of course, we can do the same for game. For game, maybe it's more interesting because the problem of existence of the value is more interesting. And there is the same phenomena. Both players knows only the probabilistic measure mu0. The first player wants to wish to minimize the final cost. The second player wish to maximize it. And once again, it's very important structure of information. Both players, during all the game, they observe the control, the action of their opponents at every time. And what is the problem, the crucial problem in game, as usual, is the existence of the value. How do we prove the existence of the value of such a problem? So, to describe, now we are in a real differential game, we have to describe a full concept of strategy. So we have chosen to use non-anticipative strategy with delay due to Varaya and Elliott-Canton. So what is a non-anticipative strategy? It's a map which associates to a measurable control of the second player, a measurable control of the first player, but in a way that it does not depend on the future. So what it means? It means that if you have to control V1 and V2 of the second player, if V1 and V2 coincide on a time interval T0t, then the answer by the strategy also coincide in the same time interval. This is non-anticipative strategy. And I say with delay because it coincides not only on the same set, but with a set which is a little bigger. Okay? So this is a concept of strategy for the first player. Symmetrically, we can define it for the second player. And the interesting aspect of non-anticipative strategy with delay, which is not true for pure non-anticipative strategy without delay, is that we can put the game in a normal form. It means play a strategy against a strategy. This is due to the easy following lemma. Considering a pair of non-anticipative strategy, there exists a unique pair of control which represents this pair of non-anticipative strategy. It means that the answer to alpha of V0 equal U0 and beta of U0 equal V0. In this way, to a pair of non-anticipative strategy, we can associate a pair of control, so it means we can associate a trajectory and a cost. And this is a way, a nice for differential gain, the gain purpose. Now cost and value. So as I said, to a pair of control, we associate this cost, which is just the averaging of the final cost. There is a mistake, there is a capital T here. The averaging of the final cost with respect to the measure, initial measure mu0. To a pair of strategy, we associate the cost associated to the unique pair of control, which represents the non-anticipative strategy. And we can define this way the two value function, upper value function, lower value function, in a normal form. From the very definition of the two value function, where we have that v minus less than v plus, because we have always that the sup inf is less than the in sup. And so the question is to prove the existence of the value. But you know there is a, and in classical differential gains, one way to prove the existence of the value is to show that the two value function, upper and lower value, satisfy the same Hamilton-Jacobi equation, and to prove that this Hamilton-Jacobi equation has a unique solution, and this is done. This was done first by Evans Suberdinis with viscosity science, but there is other methods, for example, stable breeze or viability theory, that I will use here viscosity solution, so I will mostly refer to this word. But so the problem to prove existence of the value is to define, to prove that the two value functions are solution of the same Hamilton-Jacobi equation. But here there is a big problem, because you know the value function is dependent on t and is dependent on mu, which is a probability measure. And the probability measure, of course, is not in a normed space. So what would be the differential of a function with respect to mu in a not normed space? So we have to invent, to define a specific concept of viscosity solution suitable to represent Hamilton-Jacobi equation of this problem. Okay. And so, first we are in a normal space, in the space of measure, so we have to have a minimal concept of topology of this space. And I will equip the space of probability measure with the weak convergence, weak start convergence of measure. And okay, I will restrict to a specific subset of probability measure. P2 of R2, it is a space of probability measure with finite second moments. And there is a Wasserstein distance between two probability measures, is defined as follows. It is the minimum of this cost, this quadratic cost, the minimum of what over gamma. Gamma is a set of all probability measures in the product space R2D, which first margin is mu and second margin is mu. This is when studying transport theory. And when we have a sequence mu n which has a uniform bounded second moment, we know that mu n converge to mu weakly if and only if the Wasserstein distance between mu n and mu tends to 0. Converge weakly, I recall that it means that for every continuous function, bounded continuous function, the integral of phi with respect to mu n converges with the integral of phi with respect to mu. So this is a topology I will consider on the space of measure, and there is some restriction. All my measure has finite second moments. And with this kind of topology, I can prove that the two value functions defined before are Lipschitz continuous with respect to the Wasserstein distance. Of course, the first, the value function depend on t and mu. With respect to t, there is no problem. It's Lipschitz with, it's very classical. Also, when I want to study value function, there is a kind of program in control which is routine. First, I I study the regularity after I prove the dynamic programming principle, and I try to pass to the limit to the dynamic programming principle to have an infinitesimal representation of dynamic programming principle. So let's consider first the dynamic programming principle. So, and this is possible to prove such principle. So you see, we consider two time T0 and T1, and we have very classical dynamic programming principle. V plus of T0 with mu 0 is the inf sup of V plus evaluate T1, and here instead of mu 0, we have the mu 0, which is transport by the flow associated to the trajectory alpha and beta at time t1. And so we have the dynamic programming principle. Now, the difficulty comes when we want to have an infinitesimal representation of the dynamic programming principle. It is the Hamilton-Jacobi equation. So now it's a little not precise. So what is clear, what will be the Hamilton-Jacobi equation I will be interested by is the final condition. The final condition is very clear because a function W will be solution if the final condition Wt mu is just the integral of G mu. This is the final condition. And now I have to define what is this Hamilton-Jacobi equation, derivative with respect to T, some Hamiltonian, will depend on mu, and the derivative of W with respect to mu. So what will be this, the meaning of this? And first, the derivative of a measure would be in duality with a function, and I will consider, instead of the variable here, P, which is the L2, the function with respect L2 with respect to the measure mu from Rd to Rd. And now this allows me to define an Hamiltonian in sup, which is the integral with respect to mu of f with respect to p, this L2 mu value function. Of course, if mu is a Dirac mass at one point, we have exactly the same Hamiltonian but in classical form. And second, the same Hamiltonian, there is a T which is not here, which is the same, the lower Hamiltonian by exchanging inf and sup. And now we have to define a concept of viscosity solution of this equation. Of course, we have to consider a non-smooth solution because the value function, as in classical case, is no more than Lipschitz. So we cannot imagine to have a derivative. So we have to invent a notion of super differential and sub-differential and to define viscosity solution. And you know, once again, because it's not a normal space, the difficulty in defining a derivative is to define a variation starting from an initial point. When you have in Rd, the variation is clear, you have x and you add a small term h. But there is no addition, so what will be the variation? And this is maybe the more interesting thing in the next slide. I suggest you to just look at the last formula for the beginning. What is the variation here? And the variation here, when we have phi, a continuous function, the variation with respect, starting from u is the image measure with respect by identity plus phi. This is the image measure of mu 0 by this quantity. And of course, phi is a function, it could be smooth. And so we have the definition of the super differential. Pt mu belong to the super differential. If we have this quantity, so the variation Vt, this variation goes 0 minus this, minus Pt times T times T0, this is classical. And here there is the scalar product in L2 mu with any function phi and P mu, which is an element of L2 mu of Rd. And this element belongs to the subdifferential if the limit sup when phi tends to 0 and t tends to t0 is less than normally it's 0. But this is technical. This is always the case when we have not a finite dimensional space. We cannot have 0, we have a delta. So we have a delta super differential. This is just technical. And we have also the definition of subsolution. A function is a subsolution to the previous Hamilton-Jacobi equation if for every delta, for every element of the delta super differential, we have this inequality with minus a constant delta in finite dimensional space is 0. Okay, this is a proper notion of viscosity solution, and we have in symmetric way the notion of super solution. We have the converse inequality for every element of the delta subdifferential, where the subdifferential of a function is nothing else but minus the super differential of the opposite, as usual. And so, a viscosity solution of the Hamilton-Jacobi equation, it's a solution which is in the same time subsolution and super solution with the differentials. And the main theorem, the difficult theorem, is I concentrate many results in this paper. First, not surprisingly, I have to assume some Isaac condition. So the Isaac condition says that the two Hamiltonian lower and super Hamiltonian coincide. So this is not finished, but it is the inf sup of this formula is the sup inf of the same integral. Then we have the existence of the value, because, and this is important, they are both viscosity solutions of the same Hamilton-Jacobi equation. So behind this result, it's necessary to prove that this equation has a uniqueness property, which is a more difficult part of the work. So the fact that it is a solution is not so difficult. So in this is the end of the first part of my talk. You see, I have described a model, a differential gain model, where I'm able to prove the existence of the value, although the initial condition is not known. But the same tool developed here can be modelized, can model also a different problem. This is the second part of my talk. When I have a different interpretation of mu0. In the first part, mu0 was unknown initial condition. In the second part, I have still the same model. Okay, I prefer now to represent the control system by a differential inclusion. This is not surprising. This is equivalent. So now the same problem, the same initial measure mu0, but mu0 does not represent exactly the unknown initial position. It represents we have a multi-agent system, the most easy multi-agent system. You can imagine you have a flock of ships. Every ship is a controller. Every ship controls the same differential equation, the same control system. But we are interested by the dynamic of the flock itself. So mu0 here is the fraction, mu is a fraction of the total number of agents. So for every Borel set, mu A divided by mu of Rd is a fraction of the total number of ships which belong to the set A. And mu0 is given. So by normalization, I can suppose that mu of Rd equal 1, so I can suppose that is probability measure. So initially, mu0, it is the repetition of the ships in a field. So mu0, it is still a probability measure, but it has a different interpretation. Of course, another example, it's when we have a swarm of fishes in this picture, and it could be clear that, of course, every fish could be considered by an agent with the same differential control system, but in this picture it's clear there is some interaction between the fish. Also, I have shown this example with Arc de Triomphe of Paris, and there is a crowd of vehicles, and one can expect, this is not the case everywhere, that each driver chooses control, knowing, observing what the other drivers are doing, but it's not the case very often. Okay, but so this is the model. So you have a two dynamic multi-agent model at the microscopic dynamics, means at the level of one agent, one chip. There is a control system. All the agents have the same control system, and at the big level, it is the evolution of the measure mu zero, which is a fraction, which is defined like this. And now it's not so. Still, in the previous case, the initial position was not known, and now mu zero is not the initial position of one player, but it is the initial position of a repartition of the agent in the space. And still there is the same phenomena that mu zero propagates into a time-dependent probability measure mu t. But there is something in the previous models, at every point of the support of mu zero, we have the same control, because we are in the interpretation when mu zero is an initial position and there is only one controller, it's very reasonable to apply the same control to every point of the support of mu zero. In a multi-agent system, it's not reasonable to say that all the chips at every time take the same control. The dynamic is the same, but every agent could have many different controllers. And also some more technical possibility that one can also suppose that a measure we can divide the mass. Okay. It means that we can, when we have probability 1 in one point, it can give two trajectories, for example, of probability 1/2 with two different controls. Okay, and so now, what is the evolution of the measure mu t described as here? And okay, this is the question. And in the last picture, I have said this was the previous problem. So you see, every agent has control its own evolution, but I will make a little more complex. I will suppose that every agent control his own control, but there is a dependence with respect to mu of t, which is the dynamic of the flock itself. So in sense of differential inclusion, it is like this. Every agent chooses his dynamic, his trajectory according to this differential inclusion, which depends of mu of t, the dynamic of the flock itself. At least as it is described now, it's not clear even if there is a solution, and this has to be proved. And now, what is the evolution of mu of t? It's not so simple, it's not just the image measured by the flow of something, because at every point of the support there is a different flow. So we have to use a conservation law. So in fact, the evolution of the trajectory mu of t follow this law. We just say that during the time the evolution is constant, the mass is constant equal to 1. This has to be understood in distribution sense. And v of t, which is the evolution, the velocity of evolution, is a selection of the previous differential inclusion, which depend on mu of t. And be careful, this selection, this means this value, it is valid for every x, has to be understood for mu t almost everywhere. So this is a continuity equation which was studied, not exactly like this, in transport theory and transport theory. In the case that this function v of t of x is a Lipschitz, which is almost never the case, then mu of t is nothing else than the image measure of mu 0 by the flow of this differential equation. But in general, there is more possible control, more trajectory than only trajectory generated by Lipschitz control, Lipschitz feedback. Okay, and so now I can be more quick because there is still associated to this trajectory denoted by mu bold. There is a cost, which is a little different. There is a final cost, integral cost, and a value function, which is a minimization of this cost with respect to all the trajectory of this. So in this second part, you notice that it is a pure control problem. There is only one player, multi-agent player, but only one multi-agent player. There is no antagonistic game as previous. And so idea is the same, is to try to represent the value function as a unique solution of Hamilton-Jacobi equation. And this says, I want to make some biographical comments on this problem. This is very close to what is called mean field games. It's not a mean field games, but it's close by mean field games, and it was initiated by Lasry-Lyons and one case Mallarmé, and there is a lot of work now, and it uses a lot of tools which are very similar to mean field games. The equation is on the measure mu t is very similar to the continuity equation which was investigated in a book by Ambrosio Giuli Savare, and in control case there is very few papers in this case, among them some paper of Cavalieri Marigonda and myself. There is application of this problem in a paper by Bresson and collaborators, and also there is several papers where they try to obtain Hamilton-Jacobi equation in the Wasserstein space, in the space of measure. And also we have done some work in this case, and also for differential games, but I will not present them. So, what are the assumptions with respect to the dynamic I need here? So remember, the dynamic of each agent is follow a differential equation parameterized by mu of t, which is the dynamic of the flock. So we have very simple assumption. It's Lipschitz continuity with respect to the two variables. Lipschitz in x and Lipschitz with respect to the Wasserstein distance. And we assume that everything is Lipschitz bounded continuous. Okay, this is still the definition of the Wasserstein distance. This I skip. And the first result is the existence. Is this problem is well posed? Is there exist trajectory of this two-level system? And the answer is yes. And it was proved in two papers, one by Marigonda and myself, and another one recently by Jimenez, Marigonda and myself. Not only there exists a measure trajectory, but this trajectory could be represented in a very simple way. In fact, there exists a probability measure on Rd times gamma of t. Gamma of t is nothing else but the time of possible continuous function from 0t to Rd. So it is the possible trajectories. So eta is a probability measure of the product space, which has two properties. First, mu t is nothing else but the image measure of eta by this simple evaluation map. Okay. And second, the support of this measure eta is only the trajectory, the solution of the following differential inclusion. So we have every x gamma, almost everywhere, the support of eta is in the solution of this. And this is the existent result, and not only, this really says that at the macroscopic level, the evolution of mu T is a superposition of the evolution of the multi-agent system. Superposition how? With exactly this E. Of course, now when we have existence and representation, we can be interested to have the usual property of dynamical system. I mean closeness, compactness, concatenation of trajectory, and some estimates that I will discuss. Now I can again be interested to consider value function, and the value function is defined as previously. The cost is like this. The value function is a minimization of the cost with respect to all trajectory, and it can be proved that V is regular, which is continuous. And now there is a dynamic programming principle, which is not surprising at all. But now, again, I want to define what is the Hamilton-Jacobi equation. As I explained, I hope clearly enough, to obtain the Hamilton-Jacobi equation, I have to define a proper notion of viscosity solution, so a proper notion of surface differential. And the key point in this notion is how to make a variation of a point. Before, in the first part of my talk, the variation was only, you remember, identity plus V, the image of the measurement mu by identity plus a small function. But here it's not possible to take like this, because we have not the same control at every point. And so we have to define another notion of variation, and this is due to a definition due to Ambrosio Gili Savare. When you have a measure mu, we say that P function in L2 mu is an optimal displacement if, when we compute the distance between mu and identity minus P, the image measure of mu, this is optimal. So we have this. And with this notion, we can define the notion of viscosity solution. You see, you just say that P mu is an optimal displacement. This is a classical routine definition of viscosity solution. This defines a super differential, so notion of subsolution, supersolution, and Hamilton-Jacobi equation. And we have a comparison theorem saying that with this kind of Hamiltonian, so you see the same kind of Hamiltonian, minimization on this scalar product with overall selection of the set-valued map, but selection with respect to mu z. And we have a uniqueness result, that the value function is a unique viscosity solution in this sense. This was the most recent result that I have obtained in this direction. Okay, and during the last 10 minutes, I want to speak about another model when there is a more open problem. And okay, the value function, the conclusion of this talk is a unique viscosity solution for this Hamilton-Jacobi equation with the previous definition of a viscosity solution. So now, last model, I return to the gain problem, and because of avoiding long formula, I will change a little my notation. Instead of, this is my new notation for the trajectory. The trajectory, the solution of this is this, notated like this. T0 and 0 is the initial condition, and U and V on the control. And there is a final cost, G of x of t, that the first player wants to minimize, while the second one wants to maximize. And there is incomplete information about the initial position. I will describe exactly what is this initial incomplete information. And this is a crucial description of the model. When the game starts, before the game starts, let's say, the initial position is chosen randomly according to a probability measure mu0. And this choice is communicated to one player and not to the other player. And the game is played after, and both players knows the initial probability measure mu0. One player knows what is a true x0, one does not know, he knows only mu0. And both players, during the games, observe the action of his opponents during the game. They observe controls, not the states. And again, there is a problem, an important remark about the information structure, that the uninformed player, because he does not know exactly what is the initial position, he does not know which cost he is actually trying to maximize, because he has only a partial information on x0. He knows only mu0. But again, he can try to guess his missing information by observing what the opponents play. And the opponents, knowing it, he wants to try to hide this information. So he wants to play randomly. And so when the player 1 plays, necessarily he reveals at least a part of the missing information. And but the goal of the player 1 is tries to use the advantage of the missing information, but not too much, because else the second player will guess immediately what is the missing information. You can imagine a very simple example when mu0 is just a sum of 2 Dirac mass, 1/2 of the sum of 2 Dirac mass. And so in this case, we can play with simple example when the meaning of information is noted. And so the problem is still the existence of the value, and it was generalizing some model of discrete dynamic game in earlier works of Aumann, Maschler, Mertens, and in differential games. Since 10 years, we have a team that works on this subject. And of course, now, because there is revelation and attempt to hide the information, the use of random strategy is absolutely not, we cannot avoid random strategy. And so we have kind of random strategy. So random strategies, so it means that we have a probability space and we choose each strategy according to this probability space. To make the thing simpler, I can consider only probability space of this type. Omega is just 0, 1. This is a Borel sigma field, and P is a probability of this. And what is a random strategy for the first player? It is a probability space, a map non-anticipative with delay, but for the first player, remember that the first player, he completely knows everything. So the map depends on the choice of the second player, of the random omega, and of the true position. And this, to make mathematics, it has to be to have some Borel measurability property, but this is a little technical. And for the second player, it's not symmetric, because for the second player, it's still random, but it does not depend on RD, because it does not know the initial position. So it depends only on the observation of the action of his opponents. With this, we can define, okay, we can also put this in a normal form, associate to a pair of random strategy. There is a unique pair of control representing the strategy. This is not. But the value, what is the value? So you see, it's a little complicated. So you recognize here the same, the core is the same. we evaluate the cardinal cost with respect to the, we integrate with respect to the initial measure mu0. And there is still two integrals. Two integrals is just random. An integral for the random part of the strategy alpha, and an integral for the random part of the strategy beta. And so we have two value functions. V plus R is random, which depend on T and of the measure, and T and of the measure. Okay? And the question is always the same. Is it possible to have a value in such case? And the answer first will be yes. And first we prove some continuity of the two values with respect to the Wasserstein distance. And maybe I will not make the full generality of the theorem. I will just consider case, very simple case, more simple case. You see, this simple case. So means that mu0 is only a combination of Dirac mass. So we have a probability, initial probability. We know that the initial state is among these initial positions, but there is also a probability on this set of cardinal I, and the probability is nothing else than P1, Py, which is in the simplex. So mu0 is like this. So just rewriting the definition of this value function with respect to this measure, the integral with respect to mu is nothing else but the sum of the integral of Pi, we integrate with the Dirac mass, so we have this. So the important fact is we replace, in this case, this measure, this function of probability measure by a function which depends on P is the coefficient, and on x0 is a support. So you see, when you have a measure with finite support, we can split the measure in two parts. One is the support, which is finite, and the second one is P, the coefficient which belongs to the simplex. So we reduce the problem, the difficult problem of the value function of a measure into a problem of a function which depends on two variables, P in the simplex and x0 in RD power E. But this is a function which is in finite different dimensional space, and this is much more easy to treat. And in fact, we can do it, and we have this new function is a unique solution of Hamilton-Jacobi equation in a special sense. This is the result of Cardiac-Gege in 2007. I will not describe because this is a usual Hamilton-Jacobi equation here with the usual Hamiltonian. I suppose Isaac condition, but for the meaning of this equation, there is dual solution. What means dual solution is that it is that the function is a subsolution of the equation, and the Fenchel conjugate with respect to P is a subsolution with the same equation when H is replaced by the Fenchel conjugate of H. And there is uniqueness, and it's possible to prove this. And the last, this is the result of Cardiac-Gege in the case of measure with finite support, because it reduces in finite dimensional space. We have generalized this result for general mu0, not with finite support, not necessarily with finite support. And we have explained also what is the proper Hamilton-Jacobi equation on the space of measure for this kind of context. And which was very surprising to us is that in the case with a measure with finite support, it's absolutely necessary to use random strategy. But we have proved that in the opposite case, let's say, for example, mu0 is absolutely continuous with Lebesgue measure, that the use of random strategy is not necessary. We can define only the game with pure strategy as we have equality, even for every measure which has no atoms. And this is the end of the third part, and I will describe some extension in one slide and open problem. Of course, everything of this last part, I have considered the simplified case when there is one player which knows nothing and one player which is informed. Of course, we can imagine that both players are informed and they don't know the same information. This approach can be done like this. What is also important in the previous models, that the incomplete information is concern only the beginning of the game. The mu zero is hidden or known by player, but at the beginning. What is very difficult and very open problem is what happens in such model when there is some form of revelation during the game. For example, you consider such model to say that, for example, I don't know, if the trajectory hits a target, a part of information is revealed. What happens? Is it possible to have a value? Every progress in this direction is done. There is a preliminary work of one of my students. And also what is completely widely open in what happens with stochastic differential games. And also what is not known, but I think it's possible, is to generalize this approach with other concept of strategy that not non-anticipative, but positional and other kind of strategy. Thank you for your attention.
So, questions, please. Вопрос, пожалуйста.
One question, just one question. So the case when you get the solution in pure strategies, yes, actually in this case, I think that the game is more or less equivalent to the game with perfect information. Can be considered a model of the game with perfect information, which is equivalent to the game with perfect information. That's the reason.
We have asked ourselves this question, but it's not the case, in fact. It's a very strange phenomenon. When the initial measure is rich enough, no atom, it's contained inside, it creates some randomness by itself.
Yes, of course.
And this was appear in discrete differential, in the dynamic game. This was called, there is a lot of work of Arsani, purification methods, and this is the counterpart of this.
Are there any numerical algorithms to solve such games? Are some examples of numerical solutions, or maybe of analytical solutions?
No, analytical, not yet. But numerical solution, so this is a very preliminary works. But I have some co-author, like Vladimir Gaitskovi, and he has some preliminary numerical, it's not algorithm, it's some experience. He just approximate a measure. Every measure could be approximated by a combination of Dirac mass. And he used this fact to treat 2 or 3 examples. So, this is all.
Представьтесь, пожалуйста.
Олег Ранишин.
Откуда вы?
Petersburg University.
А?
From St. Petersburg University.
Да.
Is it true to say that you consider in the second part the one cluster of agents? All of them has a similar behavior.
As a simple?
Agents has a similar behavior. All agents. I will know result with 2 or maybe 3 clusters when one team has one behavior, another.
Yeah. No. I understand this question. But this is a control problem in the second part. So there is a central controller which controls every agent in some sense. It's completely different to a real mean-field game when there is interaction of the agent. So you have a flock dynamic, but the controller, in some sense, there is a big controller. We control all the flock. It's not the same thing, but many teams, you control many teams which act one team over team. This is the goal of, and the difficult goal of the actual work of mean-field games.
But why you use the word multi-agent?
Multi-agent is just to describe the fact that every agent has the same dynamic, and we are interested by the control of the flock itself. It's not multi-agent game. It's control, multi-agent control.
More questions? Tell me, how did the motivation arrive? From what type of problems? What was the motivation? Huh?
The motivation arrived from our discussion many years ago. Because you remember, in the beginning, the motivation to treat uncertainty, initial uncertainty, there is an unknown initial set which propagates along according reachable tube, and how to approach it. But in some sense, this is the next step, because it's not only the evolution of a set, which could be viewed as a support of measure, but there is a more information of the set, that on this set, how are the probability 1 point with respect to the others. So this is a continuation.
But the physical nature of the model, it's not important. You have only a probabilistic description.
But the motivation, in fact, it's come from economic, like Aumann-Maschler models.
Economy, yes. When I talked with Patriarchy, he said he hated mathematical economy. He said there is mathematics and no economy. Or if there is economy, then there is no mathematics. But that was the opinion of Patriarchy. Yes.
But this is why I did not consider the Pontryagin system, which is completely open for young people.
So you don't have any maximum principle here. So, еще вопросы, пожалуйста. So thank you very much. Спасибо.
Спасибо.
Что сейчас?
Да. Дорогие коллеги, сначала объявление на русском. Значит, здесь мы закрываем сейчас нашу сессию и плавно, шаг за шагом, переходим в